Hello, I'm the Reverend Sarah Keane, curate in the Golden Cap team. I imagine many of us have a favourite song that brings back our childhood Christmases. For some, it might be Slade belting out Merry Christmas in a glam rock fashion. Or perhaps you're the sort of person who prefers Cliff Richard and Mistletoe and Wine. For me, it's Merry Christmas, War is Over by John and Yoko. Its highly inclusive theme, well ahead of its time, is set against a very serious message of the need to try and bring an end to war. In its day, it was highly controversial, seen as a criticism of the US approach to the war in Vietnam. Alas, other wars are available. But peace is very much a message of Christmas. After all, as Isaiah put it, looking ahead to Christ's coming, we should expect a wonderful counselor, Prince of Peace. And that was very much the way Jesus lived his mortal life as an example to us all. That matching war for war is simply not going to get us anywhere. And that where possible, we should all be looking forward to a way of finding peace. And the mighty counsellor bit suggests how, through talking, not warring. This Christmas brings again a time when we are looking at refugees, people fleeing war, not just in the Ukraine, but the aftermath of wars continuing in Afghanistan and Yemen and other parts of this world. It sent me back to thinking of a book that I read at school about the same time that John and Yoko were singing their song. All I could remember was the title and one paragraph, but thanks to the wonders of Amazon, I've managed to track it down. It tells the story of two boys, one of whom comes from a family that were refugees from the Soviet invasion of Hungary in the mid-1950s. There's a thriller element to it, where the boys are being chased by a gang of pro-Soviet Hungarians who'd actually come to the UK to try and bop off an anti-government protester. They find themselves out in the wilds of snowy Yorkshire, being chased by the baddies. As a child, it seemed amazing to me that whilst I was at home in the warmth, in front of a blazing fire, full of turkey, there could be others holed up in barns or other places, living in fear of their lives and not enjoying the joys of a normal English Christmas. If I may, I'd like to read you that one paragraph that I remembered after all these years. They had the wireless on loud in the house, and we kept track of the time by that. We heard Force's favourites and carols singing and a kids' party going on in a hospital somewhere. Then they did the roundup, round the world hookup, that they do every Christmas. And we heard what everyone round the world had for their Christmas dinner. They had turkey and goose and plum pudding. We had mince pies for us. They'd got a bit smashed in Soldier's Pocket, but we ate them and had a look round to see if there was anything else to eat, carrots or turnips or anything, but there wasn't. So we sat and heard what they had around the world. It was a very telling story, and probably only too true, of the various migrants as they flee around the world this Christmas. Some in little boats that don't really make it across the channel. Others who have at least got as far as having the welcome into families in the UK, but still a long way from home this Christmas. It's very telling that that book, published actually in the mid-60s, was about a Hungarian refugee. When it was filmed in the 1970s, they updated the nationality of Soldier, the main character. Now he was a Czech refugee. His parents had fled from Prague when the Soviet tanks rolled in there. If you're beginning to get a little bit of a picture, it doesn't surprise me. Now we're looking at refugees from another Russian invasion. But rather than dwelling on such grim facts this Christmas, what we have to look forward to is the hope of better things to come. That is the message that Christ coming to us as a tiny child brings to the world. That peace is possible if we want it, as John and Yoko said. And so, whilst I wish you a joyous Christmas, I wish us all a peaceful New Year.